visitors, the Dolphins. They were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
Charles and I have been looking forward to this one all week. And off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. Taken at the goal line. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. Here is Tua Tagovailoa heading out to lead this Miami offense.
Would you say that last week's performance by him, workmanlike in terms of numbers?
One touchdown, one pick, but obviously a loss.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for him. All he cares about is how do we find a way to win the game. Maybe leans on a few other parts of the offense and hopefully springs a receiver or two free.
And down right around the 32-yard line, 4 yards on the pickup. Off of play action, Tagovailoa. That's caught by Penning. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Dolphins first down.
I like it, I like it, I like it. Get everyone involved in the passing game, and you know you can create those great mismatches throwing it to your guys out of the backfield.
And on the first drive, that can also help establish some rhythm, right?
I think so. It gets everyone involved. They feel like they're part of it, and really gets them amped up as they go forward.
Now, this defense for the Eagles, they were strong last week, CD, and that went over New England.
Yeah, what stood out to me on tape, the way they were flying to the football. So that tells me that they've got all their assignments down, and they're playing with extreme confidence.
Meanwhile, Tua, oh, it's out. Smith lost it, and it's picked up by the Eagles. And he's into the end zone. It's a fumble return and an Eagle touchdown. Huge play by the defense, not only to force the fumble, obviously, but to return it for a touchdown.
And I know it's no fun for anyone who plays offense, but isn't it fun to see how a defense rallies when there's a fumble return and everyone tries to find someone to block and bring it all the way home?
I always like their celebrations because they don't get there that often.
No, they're not choreographed very well usually.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards. So Miami coming out for their second drive as we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM, it always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Play action, now it's Tua. Oh, this is intercepted, intended for Hill. And the Eagles are going to take possession of the football. Well, we saw plenty of that during his much-heralded college career. He parlayed that into becoming a first-round selection. And now here he is making interceptions in the National Football League.
And this is a guy that has all the physical tools, but the thing that sets him apart is what he's got between it.
And that's going to be caught for an Eagles touchdown. A.J. Brown, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Eagles are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Elliott good with a PAT, and that'll make the score 14-0. A nice tidy little drive there, getting the ball in excellent field position, and only one play to score. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Now Lewis selects to return it. The Dolphins offense now ready to go back out onto the field. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, and they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
The defense was ready for the back to leak out, and even had a second player waiting to double him up. If you're going to commit to doubling the back, you better prevent a completion, but give him credit. Extra determination, extra effort, turned it into a successful play.
Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's 4th down.
4th and short, partner. I mean, this would be a really risky call. Here we are in the first quarter.
On your own side of the field.
Own side of the field. But, boy, what a tone setter that would be to go for it and get it, wouldn't it?
You're gritty today. I like it.
I'm feeling it.
Dixon, the punter, is on as he sends it away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it will be Eagles football, 1st and 10. The Eagles offense making their way back out as we take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. And you can see by the X next to their name, they have clinched the NFC East already. For the moment, though, they would host a wild card game in round 1.
And for me, it brings back memories about how tough it is to win this division. Not just in recent years, but think about the decades that have stacked up where we've said the NFC East, always one of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
That one complete. He finds Sharp. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. Now we'll get a stoppage here for an injured player, and it appears to be Devontae Smith who's having some problems here. And this is certainly not what you want to see in the final week of the year. We'll be back. Now this throw caught left side. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. The catch and run pays off to the tune of 35 yards. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Hurts throw taken in by Watkins here. And they're going to be set up now with the ball at the 13-yard line. A little tough on the secondary there, in zone defensively. Quarterback had time to survey and find a spot.
And if you want to change things up and put a little more pressure on him, you can go to man coverage. Everyone matches up.
They're trying to find Sharp, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Javon Holland. And the Dolphins are going to take over at their own 28-yard line. Charles, not only is that an interception, it's one when you were really knocking on the door for a touchdown inside the red zone.
You're actually thinking points. No matter what, at worst, you're thinking kicking a field goal and getting 3. We might look back on this in the second half and say, you remember when they didn't get points?
Eagle pressure to... scores here in the first half defensively, and Charles, they just seem to be playing really free on that side of the football.
I love the observation because with that type of a lead, they feel like they can take a few more chances and be even more aggressive, and it's been paying off for them so far this game.
And the Eagles with a dime look, 6 DBs on 3rd down. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. It's Dolphins football here as we begin the second quarter. We're backed up here. Tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first. Throwing is Tagovailoa on 3rd down here. And that is incomplete. But the pressure there on 3rd down, forcing the errant pass. 4th down coming up.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw break out on 3rd down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. That's pulled in at the 32. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And Sharp calls it in. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. So that one a hold right guard.
And you understand why offensive and defensive linemen probably go to martial arts schools and work on their hands so often, because that can be the make or break difference on a play. This time he had to grab a jersey in order to make the play happen. Got caught for the penalty.
And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. Call it a gain of 12, but of course not a first down due to the previous penalty. From the 39, Hurts. Wide open is Watkins. He's got it. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down. Hurts sets up to throw it. That's swung out wide to Sanders. And he'll be brought down at the 27. The Eagles have 15-1 on the year. And I tell you, it has been a few months now since they've tasted defeat, and they are without question the hottest team in football.
And I'm really not sure who's going to beat them right now, because to me, they have to be the favorites to go all the way, because they're not just beating teams, they're dominating them. It's been fun to watch them play, not just in their winning, but how they're getting it done.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Throwing is Hurts. The quick throw knocked away. It's incomplete.
And that's a nice job there, because you've got to play the ball, not the man when in coverage. That'll keep you away from a lot of needless penalties, and he's able to knock that one away.
The open man is Shark. It's complete. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Sanders is into the end zone for an Eagle touchdown. It finishes off the drive with a touchdown run, Charles. Remember, he also had a catch on this drive as well.
And that's what running backs want to be in today's NFL, a complete back. 3 down, stay on the field, run it, and catch it. And he gets it done.
Elliott on for the extra point. And it is now 21-0. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it was Miles Sanders who finished it off with a touchdown run. The Eagle kick team out there now as they run up and send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Miami's offense set and ready to go. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here, because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession. But I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer, because only a few teams in league history ever come back from a 4-score deficit. And if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. On 1st down, Tagovailoa. It's caught on the right side at Smith. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Okay, ready? Check right. Check left.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive they went 3 and out.
Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Now he's hit on the return. It's a loose football. And the offense is going to get the ball back. After all that, heck, it'll be a first down. Well, do you want to unpack that one, or do you want... And now before the ball changes hands, we're going to take a look at this just to make sure.
After review the play, ruling on the field.
So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. And they'll run it. This is James Robinson. And a solid run here as he'll pick his way down to the 42-yard line. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first.
Not too shabby for his first carry of the game. That's exactly what most teams are looking for. A really good change of pace back.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. 10 yards there and an Eagle first down.
For a lot of guys playing this game, there's no better feeling than running right through a tackle. He's able to lower his center of gravity and turn his legs for a really nice pickup.
And he delivers a strike complete to Watkins. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
Well, this is a defense that's definitely on their heels now because they gave up the running play for good yardage 1 play ago. Now the pass here sets this offense up 1st and goal. They're going to have to dig in strong now because they've been in retreat. So
touchdown, Eagles! A.J. Brown, his 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game. And the Eagles continue to pull away here in this first half.
That score that they just gave up there, that's a tough one for their defense to swallow because they've had a tough time through the first 2 quarters. They really were determined to get a stop there, unable to do so. That makes their comeback hopes that much more difficult.
So that drive, 4 plays, and it's capped off by an A.J. Brown touchdown. The Eagle kick team out there now as they run up and send this one away. This taken in at the goal line. The Dolphins taking over now late in this first half. Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe if they can get something on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5. Now they got to get to the line quickly. 2, the final shot before half. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Only 30 minutes left in the regular season, and everybody's excited for the playoffs, so we're just going to forget the halftime show and get back to the football. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. So the Eagles with the lead, and they're going to get this football first as the third quarter gets underway from the 6. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. And as this offense makes their way back out, NFC playoff race time, we give you a look at what's going on there. And it's all come down to this, hasn't it? Final week of the regular season. As this year's playoffs play out anything like the regular season has gone, could be in for a wild and fun month of January.
And we can break the rules because we can look ahead. All right, there's not a coach out there that's ever said to their team, all right, let's look three weeks down the road. It's always right here, right now. Forget that. Think about what the playoffs are going to look like. The teams that we see that are already in, the teams that are trying to get in, we could have some great matchups.
To try again after the sack. Hurts. Looking left side for Watkins, and he's got it. A big gain there after going backwards, and that'll lead to a third down.
That's a good bounce back play right there after taking a sack on first down. Didn't quite get it to the marker, but now they're in a much better spot for a third and short yardage call. Through the offensive coordinator, you like looking at that section a heck of a lot better than trying to figure out third and long.
Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs. They'll fake the give to Sanders, and now Hurts. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Oftentimes when you're losing a game and the team's still throwing with this kind of a lead, you start playing a little more physically. And they took that opportunity right there to be extremely physical and force that incompletion.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Hurts. And he slings one that's incomplete.
Well, he certainly didn't like what he saw at all from the coverage on his primary reads, and he didn't even have any luck trying to get back to his safety valve. Give defense a credit. Coverage was in lockdown mode everywhere.
And he's got his man. It's the tight end Goddard. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 28. A really nice gain of 25 yards. So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
It certainly looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But if this defense gets 2 more stops, they can keep them out of that area.
Eluding the pressure right. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Hurts dangerous when he runs that football. He's got a first. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. That's into a crowd and intercepted. Picked up by Javon Holland. And the Dolphins are going to have it here at their own 15. So it was a drive that had real promise here to begin the third quarter, but ultimately derailed by the INT.
And that was the position you wanted to be in. Coming out to start this third quarter, get a nice drive going, looking for the end zone. Possibly got a little bit too greedy right there.
After the turnover, it's Tua. Quick hitter here. And the ball is knocked out. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And some space here. And he's into the end zone. It's a fumble return and an Eagle touchdown. And that's got to be so disappointing for a defense. You force the fumble, think you got a chance at a turnover, and instead, not only do you give up the football, you also give up a touchdown as well.
Yeah, you just think to yourself, you've done all the hard work, right? You forced the fumble, but when they didn't come up with it, I think they relaxed a little bit or maybe lost their focus as well, and it ended up turning out to be a touchdown against them.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable now. Or win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles. But I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare.
Oh, and Tua going to be intercepted for the third time. Picked up by Avonte Maddox. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Eagles defense gets a pick-6 TD. Well, I mean, you get it. They're trying to make something happen here in this third quarter, CD, but I don't think a pick six is exactly what they had in mind.
No, not at all, because this offense, they've been stuck all game long. Haven't dented the scoreboard yet, and they're kind of forced to take a few chances here, and that one, it backfired in a big way.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field.
But the disparity in this game, it just seems to grow with each possession here, Charles. They are really struggling. They have not put up a single point, and on the other side, the points keep piling up and up and up.
So you know the frustration level.
No, bottled up fumble. It's out. It's loose.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
And there's another stop. One of the league's best defenses is certainly bringing it again this week.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And fortunately for him, he's able to get it back, but it will be a loss on the play. Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now fourth down, so they'll have to boot it away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. One, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But two, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
33 yards is the distance on the punt there.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
The Eagles in good position to start out as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 46. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And this is caught right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there. Give him 32 on the play.
Off the play fake. Here's Hurts. Pass to Brown. He's got it on the crossing route.
And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9.
Play action. Here's Hurts.
And this is caught. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, a 9-yard touchdown grab. And the Eagles are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter.
Well, on the other sideline right now, it's just absolute dejection. But, Charles, let's focus on the positive. With the lead that they built here, they've done pretty much everything to perfection in this ball game.
They certainly have. Makes me think that their week of preparation was excellent. And they flowed into this game, and it carried over. And right now, I don't expect them to back off at all. They're playing so well, they just want to keep it going.
Elliott good on the extra point, and the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. The Eagle kick team out there now as they run up and send this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And the Dolphins getting set to go here.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
In every game that's ever been played, all coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
And they're not going to get to the line to run.